Hello, my fellow patriots. This is Alex with Disabled Vets Perspective. Got something going on in the news that I thought would be necessary to bring forward, but we're going to talk about it for a minute. This new SARS virus, or Wuhan, whatever they're calling it, they're naming it after the city that victim one, I guess, comes from. So, here's the interesting thing. Anytime China tells you a number, it's a lie. Come on, this way. Anytime they give you any indication of a problem, they're only giving you a tiny fraction of it. Well, they just locked down a city of 10 million people because of what they're calling 500 cases. Well, the fact that they just locked down 10 million people, and that's not even it. They're talking right now about locking down 2 more cities in China. Ladies and gentlemen, this is an outbreak. It's a real deal. This is a mutated strain of an already lethal virus. And here's my question. Who the hell owns the patent on it? Because some of you may be aware, and some may not, that Ebola is a patented disease. And Bill Gates and some other fat cat from the big pharmaceutical companies owns the patent on this thing. How the hell do you own, why do you own a patent on a lethal virus? That's the first question. Second question is, who the hell owns the virus that is now killing people and hospitalizing them in China? It's owned. Somebody owns it. And the question is, did this thing mutate on its own, or did it get created to mutate? That's the trick. Because I think by now the whole conspiracy theory of Agenda 21 has quite literally had the cat jerked out of the bag tail first. There is no conspiracy theory. Agenda 21 is mainstream now. And the goal with Agenda 21 is not that everything starts on the 21st year. It's that everything has been finalized on 2021 so that they can get the rebuilding and the restructure and the New World Order and everything else in line by 2030. That's why you have Agenda 21 and you have Agenda 2030. Because they want the population down, they want the new rules and regulations that are going to be in place for survivors. They want to get them used to the tyrannical rule of the government. They want everything in place by 2021 because the goal is to have the New World Order established and well underway by 2030. Well, they have been looking for a nice little tool to take out humanity so that they can bring their population down to 500 million to maintain harmony with nature. Written on the Georgia Guidestones. You don't think that was just put up there for the hell of it, do you? That was put up there because that's their plan. They spell it out to you. I've said it before, the Illuminati can do anything they want. Literally anything they want. But they have to tell people ahead of time. That's just one of their little rules. So they're telling you literally what they're going to do to you right there on the Georgia Guidestones. And they do movies like this too. They give you little hints of what they're going to do. But people don't listen. Oh, that's nothing. Shoot, that's just stone art. That's just something fancy that they set up. You know, they wanted to have something to leave for the future people, like the Egyptians left their big triangle rocks on the desert floor. Everything has a reason for being there. But this strain is the real deal. my advice is, take it or leave it, but I think that if you haven't started putting food back and preparing yourself for restricted travel and, making sure you have contingency plans in order. If you have immune problems, you better be cranking on some vitamins, try to get your immune system built up a little bit. You need to be doing all the things that you should have been doing potentially 10 years ago or more, because the New World Order is still in full effect. President Trump hasn't really done anything to hinder their progress, because while he's doing things in our forefront, you have all of the deep state actors that have been just plowing forward with their agenda with no consideration whatsoever of what's going on in the White House. They don't give a damn. That works for them as a perfectly good distraction. Oh, I got air in my chest. I don't want to let out a big old belch on here because that would be rude. But you need to be getting ready. You need to be prepared for the same thing they're doing in China. I mean, they're locking down entire cities. What the hell are those people going to do when they run out of their supplies? Because if a city's in quarantine, they're not going to be sending drivers in there with trucks to go deliver food. They're not going to be sending healthy people in to be exposed and then come right back out. That just doesn't happen. When it's a quarantine, it's a quarantine. It means borders are closed, travel is locked, and you are where you are. So if you aren't prepared, if you don't have your shit together, then you will be in deep and total shit. It is important that you pay attention to this. I mean, I'm not attempting fear-mongering. My father was a physician and worked with exotic diseases. He worked on cures for things that went bump in the night. That was about his last 15 years practicing medicine. He did that. So I'm familiar with how these kind of things get started and how they go forward. And this one is acting like the real deal. Spanish flu, kind of ring a bell. Bubonic plague. The problem is that one person was just quarantined in LAX. Well, planes recirculate air. They don't have an air-producing system. They can't create oxygen. So they filter out CO2 and recirculate the air into the plane. So every passenger that is on that plane right now is totally exposed to this virus. So they quarantine one, but they let a couple of hundred others go. Doesn't work like that. So every person that gets exposed can potentially expose 500 more people indirectly, because he would expose 5, maybe immediate family, whatever, average numbers. He would expose 5, they would expose 5, and so on and so on and so on. And you have an explosive rate of exposure just in days, not weeks, not even months. Nope, just days. And it can get away from you real quick. But you guys need to heed the warning. You need to be paying attention to the SARS virus. I mean, I don't know what they're calling it now. It's got I think they named it after the city. But it is a mutated strain of SARS that has gone, they're saying airborne, but they're saying it kind of with a half back snap kind of thing. But the problem is, if it's not airborne, then there'd be nothing to worry about. Might infect a couple of people with a sneeze and a handshake, but you wouldn't infect an entire plane, which is what they're talking about. So the disease is airborne, and you need to be ready for the same kind of lockdowns that they're doing in China. You can be ready for them here. Get your stuff together. Get some food. Get ready for a period of time that you will not be able to travel. This is important. It's not fear, it's preparedness. Make sure that you are prepared. That's it. Then the world can collapse around you, and you can sit around your campfire and eat your beans and be like, well, that was interesting. But if you're not prepared, then you go down with the ship. And that's not what I want. So make sure that you guys heed the warning, get your stuff together, and do it now before it becomes a panic. And then when everybody else is panicking, you can sit around the campfire and eat your beans. So anyway, that's what I got. Stay vigilant on this one. It's serious stuff. And until next time, y'all, stay in the fight.